righty. Here we go, guys. It's Free for All Friday. Enjoy Free for All Friday, but I tell you, I'm really, I'm really starting to become a disgruntled old man, just with the way things are operated in this world now. You know, specifically as an American here in America, but just in general. I'll let more of you guys get in here before I get too deep into all that. Now, let me see which one of these is going to be more friendly for me to see the chat. Connor's here, and Noah and Wolverine, and A, and Mako and WJ. Hey, good to see you again, Jay. Let's see, can I make this larger? This, just got my chat screen. It's so small there. I'm used to small things, though. And that's set up there. Okay. Sam is here, and Wolverine, Mr. Shank, Joe Daly, Coltonius is in, Nurtaku, Johan, Wade Wilson, Alex, and Mortem. You know, there's been a bunch of stuff going on, and I think just in general, I just stay pissed off most of the time. We have a news media that's largely freaking useless. I mean, absolute garbage. For the most part, most mainstream media sites, and I'm including all of them, and I don't care which side they play for, which team they play for, they all produce nothing but slanted, intentionally misleading articles, news stories. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of having politicians who are utter morons, and we've got an awful lot of them going on. I think we've had 2 presidents in a row that are complete idiots. This one we got now is just a doddering fool. I mean, I find myself trying to make excuses I have on both their behalves in their presidencies because, you know, it's like, all right, we'll take into consideration the just insane amount of pressure in the job. No. I have to. Susan's no longer in charge, but I assume it's the same. It's the same basic umbrella of decorum that they're looking for. So I have to watch what I say. But they're idiots. Our past 2 presidents have been, as far as I'm concerned, complete and utter morons. And you have the same thing running all over the halls of Congress. And once again, on both sides of the aisle. People that only have interests in what suits their own interests, certainly. Nothing as far as interest in what benefits all of us. Yeah, Dylan says the world is in a sad state of affairs right now. It's like humanity is devolving intellectually. I agree. And you know, we rightfully blame social media for a lot of the ills in society. But one of the things it does so well, too, is expose how stupid society is. I mean, you have people on there saying things that are just off the wall, insanely moronic all the time. It gets depressing to look at, not because of their beliefs, just because of how stupid people are. Hey, Lud. Yeah, Sam says we're evolving only backwards. I'm just... There are so many things that are wrong, and yet so many things we could do to try and go about righting those wrongs, and it never gets done. For one reason, the worst thing that can happen is somebody from either team in our political stratosphere has a good idea. Because if you have a good idea, that other side's going to fight you on it, period. If you have an idea, I should say, be it good, bad, or indifferent, they're going to fight you on it. That's where we are now. It's never a case of, well, gee, let's think about that. All right, well, here's a counteroffer. What if you were to add this? And it's never that. It's like, you're stupid. That won't work. And I'm tired of it. And I want to, I can't say what I want to do to them because that's considered a threat. Wolverine says punchbacks for not proposing earlier. George Carlin would have hated Andrew Tate. That's a good screen name. I was watching that Darrell Brooks trial. For the love of Odin, that was glorious. The man tried to argue for dismissal because the state isn't a person. Oh, jeez. Yeah, exactly the type of thing we're talking about. This stupidity will just never... Oh, man, it just compounds itself. Yeah, Willie had a good point about Spaz Kid being engaged. He said, level 30 wizard, no more. I hadn't thought about that until Willie said it. He has achieved. He has gone above and beyond now. Mr. Shank saying it's terrible in East Palestine, Ohio. Yeah, that's awful. And what... Listen, I'm certainly... We all know I'm not a scientist, but holy shit. How can the government say that it's okay, it's safe there? We all saw that cloud, and now you're starting to see all these videos where people are stirring up the water, and you're seeing what looks to be like oil slicks within the water, discoloration that oil makes. And now we've got trains derailing left and right. And it's not as unusual as some would believe, because I looked it up, that trains derail. It's that they're derailing, because anytime a train slips the track at all, it's called a derailment. A lot of times, there's no damage, no danger. But to have these significant ones with all these ecological disasters around them is crazy. And what's really pissing me off, one of the many things, because our government just lies to us constantly, is this whole thing with the 3 recent UFOs, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah, it's been a while, Kobe. It has, since we've been able to stream. The eggs there are changing colors? I didn't hear that one, Chris. Really? It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, again, I try not to talk about anything about which I don't have a decent amount of knowledge, because you just end up making yourself look stupid. So I'm not saying I understand the science of it all. But, and I think you guys will agree with me, when you see those videos, when you see those pictures of that black cloud that was hanging over that city, does anybody reasonably believe that the government can say, oh no, it's safe, go about your business, never happened? And that's basically what they're getting. Yeah, Big Green, we were talking about that, about Susan stepping down. I don't think it's going to make anything of a difference. The truth of it is, and I hate to bounce around too much, it's fun making fun of Susan in the respect that, everything that goes wrong is Susan's fault. But as I've told you guys before, I don't think she's intrinsically a bad person. And I think she was well-intentioned a lot of the time. I think the biggest problem with YouTube is it's just too goddamn big. And there's definitely a disconnect between management and what they want done and the people who are working on the front lines of YouTube, those who monitor what goes on. So that's what I think is the biggest issue. Excuse me. Big Green says, no, it won't make a difference. I was just surprised to see that today. Yeah, I was surprised, only because I didn't know there was any thought about her stepping down. Oh, Marty says, yeah, hell, here in Cleveland, working on an auto detail shop, already getting shit about acid rain from cars that aren't from Japan anyway. Toyota dealership detail. See a lot of them. Wow. And Jay says, that's the worst part. The government and media are literally spouting the talking points of the companies involved. Absolutely. Hi, Chrome. Again, I've told you guys before, that's where my education was. The limited amount of beyond high school education I had was in journalism, and it's something that I always held kind of near and dear. And the state of journalism right now is absolute garbage. And what people don't realize is, or what they'll try and defend them with is, well, no, you can't say it's fake news. They're given facts. That's not the issue. It's when you ignore the facts within your story. Or when you see someone writing a news story and they are, within that writing, are giving their own perspective on things and their own take. And it happens all the time now. And that's as taboo as it gets in the real world of journalism. In the real world of journalism, you report a story. You take that topic, you research it, you see every side of it, every angle of it, and then you put it together in a story presenting all of that equally. What you think as a reporter or what you feel about it is inconsequential and should be no part of it whatsoever. How many times do you see a mainstream media source with an article that reflects those values? It doesn't happen anymore. Everything that the news media does now is basically an opinion piece, whether the opinion is of the individual author or the opinion, or in most cases both, of the larger corporation. Lizard Luminal says, congrats on your son getting married. Thank you. We appreciate that. Hold on, guys. You might get an ad here real quick. That already the app is telling me to insert an ad. And what we found is when I go ahead and do it, we do better for notifications. So if you get an ad, apologies, but hopefully a lot of you won't even probably get them. Lunatic says, if the facts don't fit my agenda, then they aren't important. Right. And that happens, again, both sides of the aisle. It's like, if the facts are inconvenient, well, we'll just pretend they aren't facts. And if you state those facts, we'll just call you a name. Depending on which side you're coming from, you're either a Nazi or a racist or a communist. You have to be one of those things if you don't agree with me. If your take is not the same as mine, you have to have a name attached to it. Now is a good time to insert, as Big Green says. Chrome says AdWalk. Yeah, I don't have a problem with people using AdWalk. I won't use it just because I am a YouTuber and I watch a lot of YouTube videos. Well, I don't get them now anyway because I subscribe to YouTube TV and all that crap. But I would never use AdBlock just because I figured, being a YouTuber myself, that's kind of a shitty thing to do to other YouTubers. If I like their content, I'll survive an ad to see it. No, I have it too, Maku. That's what I'm saying. I have YouTube, so I don't see ads anymore. I did, obviously, until I got it. And George Carlin would have hated Andrew Tate says, you ready for Cody versus Reigns? Should be good. That should be really good. We've got to see what they're going to do with Sammy versus Reigns first. They might throw some sort of curveball in there. Nova Dude says, hey, I've been watching your content for a while now and it's super entertaining. Keep it up. And thank you. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Brian says, I welcome ad breaks. What better time to take a piss or get something to drink? Willie says, so speaking of horrible journalism, did you see Wired's review of Hogwarts Legacy? 1 out of 10 without really talking about the game. It was all about J.K. Rowling. I didn't see that, Willie, but that's exactly the type of thing I'm talking about. And that goes on all the time now. All the time. So you want to be, apparently, you're hoping to be taken seriously as a publication. And you want to be taken seriously for your reviews. But if something lends a little political expediency to my side, we'll just throw all that out the window. Let's just rag on the game because we don't like the creator of the franchise. So, in other words, why should anybody believe anything that comes from Wired? You've just said, pay no attention to anything we write because it's all going to be simply our political take on things. There's no reason to believe there's any truth in anything we say. Not that I would have believed anything Wired had to say anyway. Fuck you, Wired. Damien says, must have been a woman pilot, huh? I hope you remember this reference. Must have been a woman pilot, huh? It's like, Damien, it's like striking a little bit of a chord, but I can't put it together. Is it something from Family Guy? I think it's one of the Family Guy skits. Oh, Jesus Christ. Chrome says, oh, well, he's talking about the sex toy reviewer at Wired. Not kidding, who was put in charge of reviewing the game. Yeah. And that's the thing that I'm talking about. So if you're going to put something out like that you know is just a political hit piece on the game because you don't like the politics of the creator of the franchise, why would anybody outside, well, nobody outside of their little echo chamber is going to think that anything they have to offer is worth anything, because it isn't. It's just like the New York Times. I'll never forget it. The New York Times posted only because they thought it could get the guy from the other team, posted an opinion piece and allowed the author to remain anonymous. We know who it is now. It was a nobody in the administration. But that was the New York Times saying, fuck this. We don't, journalism, integrity, what is all that crap? No, we have a team we play for here, and that's what's important. Lou says, did you hear about the people who harassed streamers who played on Twitch? I did. Hey guys, you know how trans people are treated like shit because of their choices? Let's do the same to these other people. Right. I thought about that at the time, Lou. If I had more time in my days, which you guys know I don't, unfortunately. If I had more time in my days, I would have played the game. Just for the simple fact that I think it's absolutely asinine that people have their feelings. I will say this, as far as the whole thing with the trans community, the one thing that does annoy me about it all is their unwillingness to accept any type of even humor directed at them, in the respect that we all know how they feel about Dave Chappelle and anybody else who dares to make a joke about trans people. And again, this isn't all trans people, of course. This is just, unfortunately for them, the people with the loudest voices in the trans community. And it cracks me up how their defense to that is, well, you're punching down and we're defenseless, and everybody, and trans people kill themselves at an alarming rate because we're so, we're just so put down all the time. We're picked on by everybody. What? You think that you are the most under the boot group in America? Black people like to have a word with you. Jewish people like to have a word with you. I'm not saying it's right. It's never right to just go after other people for whatever reason, skin color, their religion, their sexuality, whatever it is. But to somehow believe that you are above being poked fun at, having a joke made at your expense, because everybody's mean to us, is absolute horse shit. Jokes are jokes. You don't like them being told about you? Who gives a shit? Does it offend you? Good. Oh, it's Spaz Kid. Perfect timing. Let me just respond to him. I'll be right with you guys. I'll be right back. Oh, okay. It was. I thought it was Family Guy. Damien says it's Peter Griffin telling Brian that he remembers 9/11. The women, yes, the women pilots. I know it's something along those lines. I couldn't remember exactly what it was. Oh yeah, Willie said it too. Peter on 9/11. David says, Curtis, were you surprised Spaz Kid didn't announce he was getting engaged to Sim Simmy? No, but Sim Simmy probably was. He's probably in a deep, dark depression right now. Mortem says we need to forget about sides and just come together as one. I don't even think, we don't even need to do that much. It doesn't need to go that far. It just needs to go far enough to say that, okay, because somebody's on the other side doesn't mean they can't have some good ideas, or that some elements of their ideas might be good. You guys know, I've always said politically, the number one political bugaboo for me, the number one deal breaker is anybody who feels that we should give more of our hard-earned money to the government to let them redistribute it, because they suck at it. They're terrible at it. They will always be terrible at it, and it's never going to work out well. Now, given that, the people who believe those things and believe in a lot of social programs, that's not to say they don't have any good ideas, or that's not to say that social programs are something that shouldn't exist. Of course they should. But that's not how we do things in America anymore. It's like, okay, well, you said that, so you're a socialist on the way to communism. And on the other side, if somebody says, well, no, just what I said, if you say that expanding social programs is not a good idea, as far as we need to be more careful about who, how these money for social programs are spent, well, then you hate poor people. So there's no conversation about anything. Dylan says, just agree to disagree and move on. Well, even more than that, in politics, you got to be able to work together somewhat. But again, it's that unwillingness. And especially now. Now, like during Trump's presidency, anything Trump said was going to be wrong as far as the other team was concerned. Biden has become the same way now. Anything Biden says is going to be wrong as far as the other team is concerned. And there's no wiggle room. It's a bunch of fucking children running our government and running the world. It's all a bunch of kids. And I shouldn't even say that, because that's like insulting, disparaging to children, because children work things out much better than government does. Oh, what do we got here? Big Green says the game looks good even to someone who's not a Harry Potter fan. I heard that too. And it's doing great despite the boycotts. Oh, those boycotts are never worth anything. Yeah, Big Green, that you knew that was going nowhere. And it's a small minority of people that feel the need to do these boycotts anyway. A very small minority. They get amplified a lot because, again, people in the echo chambers or people that want to seem like allies will help them get the word out there. Though a lot of these allies aren't true allies. They're just doing it so that they don't get canceled and that they can, catch a few points with a certain specific group. I don't believe for a second they're actually allies. Chrome says, no, don't give the government more of your hard-earned money. No, give me your hard-earned money, and I'll redistribute it back to you in the form of G100 sponsorships. All right, Chrome. I like the way you think. That's good. But really, I mean, when you think about what has the government ever done? When has the government ever taken large amounts of our money and handled it effectively in redistributing it? Even Social Security. And it kills me when people talk about that and they say, well, what about Social Security? We've had that for years. Yeah, they fucked it all up. And Social Security is our money. Social Security is a retirement fund that we, as workers, paid for. And it's going broke because the government fucked it up. Because they can't be trusted to handle our money. Any money that comes into the government, everybody in the Congress, everybody along the way in national government is going to be trying to take their little piece for their special interests. That's the way it's been for years, and it's done nothing but get worse. Never should we be... Anything that can be handled in the private sector is better off done that way. Now, if the government were operating properly, they would be a good arbiter for making sure that everybody is treated fairly within that world, but they don't do that either. Because we know that the big corporations are always given all the breaks, all the wink, wink, nudge, nudge, nod, nod type things. We know that. Now, if we had a government that was purely functional and was willing to say, okay, now, we need an even playing field for anybody, and here's how we're going to go about it, that would be a different story. But we don't have that. And I don't think anybody can rise to power with that because, well, somebody will, they'll get Epsteined. Evgeny says, people used to call Bush Jr. dumb. As an American, would you say recent politicians are better or worse or same level but stupid in different ways? Yeah, I never had a problem with Bush Jr. I get where the dumb thing came from. Do I think he's one of the brightest presidents we've ever had? No. Do I think he was a decent guy for the most part? Yes, I honestly do. And, but yes, I think it's same level, but stupid in different ways. I think it's become, and you can see it, Biden's a perfect example. Look at Biden, just take any group of Biden's beliefs now, that he espouses now, and compare them to Biden 30, 40 years ago, and you'll see. It's, everything now is what is best for me as far as political expediency. It's never about what's best for the masses or what an individual in government genuinely believes. It's all about what will get the votes. By a large portion of Biden's beliefs and legislations are entirely different than they were years ago. Let's see. Jeb Bush? Never been a big fan of Jeb Bush. I mean, well, I'm not a big fan of any politicians, to be fair. Dylan says Biden had 50 years in Congress to do something and failed. All of a sudden, he's president. That sums up how things in American politics are going. In fairness, I don't think anybody, well, no, I shouldn't say anybody. I think very few people in the country were actually enthused about a Joe Biden presidency. I mean, even Democrats. It's just that he was the best bet, and they were right about that. He was the best bet to take down Trump. I think Trump would have beaten Sanders. I think he would have definitely beaten Kamala Harris. I think Biden was definitely their best bet. I don't think not many people were too excited about it. And to say that you can't see some sort of cognitive decline in Biden, which you see people defending him all the time about it, and it's like, how can you not see it? How could you genuinely not see that there's some sort of issue going on with the guy? How extensive, I don't know. Exactly what it is, I couldn't tell you. But there's some decline there, and it's pretty frightening. We're not talking about a speech impediment. We're not talking about him searching for a word here or there. We're talking about his brain being sucked out by a vacuum cleaner once in a while, where he just goes and loses track of where he is and what he's doing regularly in the middle of sentences. Negativity says Bernie would have been a disaster. I'm so glad he lost. Yeah, I don't think Bernie had a snowball's chance in hell of winning a general election. Rover says politics is just the choice of who is the least worst. You still pick bad. It's just the least bad. That's sad and depressing and true. All of those things at once. I did see the latest Biden snorting kids vid. It just, oh man, it just kills me that these are the best that we can come up with. We have so many idiots in positions of power nationally. It's just really, oh, jeez. It just, like I said, it just really, really depresses you. Chrome says apparently Hogwarts Legacy may have beaten Elden Ring's launch sales, and that game sold over 17.5 million. Wow. Want to know the worst part? If they just shut up, no one would care about this game. I wouldn't say no one would care, Chrome, but I agree with you. It probably helped sales. I don't think there's any doubt that it helped sales. Listen, any publicity is good publicity. People have known that for decades, and it got lots of publicity because of people crying about it. And the fact is that it's still, how many millions, billions of books has J.K. Rowling sold? A lot of people are going to want to check that game out. And I had heard from people whose opinions I trust and have nothing, I know are not giving their opinions based on anybody's politics, that, as was said earlier, even if you're not into Harry Potter, they said it's a good game. It's just a really well-made game. David says, why is it okay to claim Biden has cognitive issues and hold that against him? Democrats were worried when McCain clearly was in cognitive decline. I'm not sure what your question is, David. Do you think that I thought it was okay for somebody else to be in cognitive decline because I'm concerned that Biden's in cognitive decline? That's just when you ask a question based on quote unquote people, who the hell are you talking about? I'm the one who said it seems that obvious that Biden is in cognitive decline. So are you saying, did I think it was bad when we have any member of Congress in cognitive decline? Yes. And I think he clearly was. I think there was no doubt about it. I don't think it's good at all. I don't give a shit what side they play for. It's just it's a weirdly worded question. Again, when you say people, who are we talking about here? I think from what I'm understanding, the one, what's her name? Feinstein from California. And again, this is rumored, but you're hearing from a lot of, you've heard it from a lot of different sources, that she's in really, really rough shape. Really rough shape. Chrome says, I'll show you what I mean. Highest selling Harry Potter game was Chamber of Secrets at 9 million. Second was Philosopher's Stone at 8. Then third drops to 2.7 mil. After that, they're all 1 million or less. Wow, this one's doing that much? Yeah. Oh, I agree with you 100%, Chrome. I think all the conversation about it and the threats of boycott and everything, I think, have done nothing but prop up sales. I completely agree. Joshua says, I'm saying get rid of all the parties and just vote for the person based on their views. See, I get that, and I don't agree with that. And here's why, Joshua. I think it's fine for people to have parties because it at least gives you an outline of their belief system. It's up to the individual voter to vote for politicians as individuals. I think saying, well, you shouldn't have political parties is just more trying to idiot-proof things. And I'm not a big fan of that. It's like everybody, again, from both teams, needs to stop being idiots and vote for whoever's best for the things that you want. But I wouldn't, even though I'm politically unaffiliated and always will be, because I don't align completely with any party, I wouldn't be a fan of getting rid of the parties. David says Biden's opponents, the only thing they can cling to is alleged cognitive decline, which has been debunked repeatedly. It has not been debunked repeatedly. You have people, by debunked repeatedly, if you have some people saying he's not in cognitive decline, okay, but what we see would strongly suggest otherwise, and that's what I see as well. I've been following politics my whole adult life. Joe Biden was always a gaffe machine. Always was. And I mean, there was a time, I don't know if he still does, there was a time when he would even poke fun at himself for it. It was known that sometimes he would say things before he thought them through. This is nothing like what we used to deal with Biden. This vapor locking in the middle of conversations, this state of confusion, just not sure where to go, where to move next, so on and so forth. It hasn't been debunked at all. Well, or you can say it's been debunked because, gee, they were able to get a doctor to come in and say, oh, no, he's fine. What a shocker. So I'm assuming, David, you're a Biden supporter and on the left. So if Trump were showing the same signs and they had a doctor come in and say, oh, no, he's fine. Or they have a doctor, when they had a doctor come in and say, weigh 230 pounds, you probably believe that too, right? Because it's verified then. It's been debunked that he's 290 or whatever. Come on. David says, I'm not a Biden supporter. I think anyone who likes Trump is a terrorist. Well, that's why you're among the worst of the people that are out there, David. When you make general statements like that anybody who supports Biden is, anybody who supports Trump is, you're just among the worst. You're the people I'm talking about. You suck. That's all there is to it. Let's see. King of Isis Hayuga says, I once saw a TikTok of a person in the trans community saying there is a difference between sex and gender. So I commented on the TikTok and said, it's okay for you to say it. But Rosa used to be with, you guys remember Cutie Rosa. Rosa was with us in the streams regularly, and Rosa's a trans woman. And it was nice when we had conversations like this to get her take on things. I haven't seen her around lately, but we haven't been streaming much. David, I hope your son's marriage fails. David, as I told you, you don't matter. Who cares what you hope? That always cracks me up when people will get upset about that. Like someone says, I hope you die. I don't give a fuck if somebody hopes I die. What is your hope? Hold your hope in, and your hand on your ass. What difference does it matter what you hope? Oh, David, are your fifis hurt, David? Aw. Can we do something for David here, guys? His fifis are really hurt now. He he feels bad because he's a loser. That's not our fault. You're a loser, dude. You're the one who came in and showed up. You're the one who came in and perfectly exemplified everything we were talking about as far as someone being garbage. You can't spell either. Oh, wait, David's getting serious. He's in all caps now. Look out. It's getting real. You're getting scary now, David. You're a real tough guy behind that computer screen or your little keyboard there. Wow. Yeah, I know, Glenn. No, David is funny. I mean, David's a perfect example. I like that he showed up. As we're having this conversation, we got someone in here who perfectly exemplifies exactly what we're talking about. I don't have to do anything, David. Go fuck yourself. Who do you think you are? Robert says, hoping for someone to die is a low bar. They're going to die anyway, eventually. True. Hope for something more ambitious like that. You'll grow an extra toe inexplicably. That's distressing. Right. Hope for something that isn't a definite eventuality anyway. Correct. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, good point, Chrome. You called all Trump supporters terrorists and you're mad about civility. That's exactly the point. And that's what it is. People like David don't see that stuff. They'll make asinine, inane statements like that and then get called out on it and then want to be the victims. That's the way it always is. It's always, I'm a victim. Spazdev says, Hogwarts Legacy was going to be big no matter what. It's a new Harry Potter game that is open world. Not sure why people are saying it wouldn't do well without the drama. I know and you guys know I don't even know Harry Potter, but I know I'd heard a lot about it long before there was any type of kerfuffle about it or anything. I know a lot of people were excited for it, but yeah, I think all the threats of boycott, so on and so forth, have absolutely helped it out. Oh, what's David crying about now? CB Green, that's my point. You people mock mentally disabled people. You people. So now everybody mocks mentally disabled people. Well, especially me, considering that 2 of my children are disabled. We adopted a young man with cerebral palsy who is disabled, and he's an adult now and has moved on, living in his own life. And for 25 years, we provided care for disabled people in our home, full-time, 24/7. What have you done, David? You're probably right there with me, right? Because you're standing up for disabled people everywhere. You're their white knight. What have you done? Connor says, David, I'm mentally disabled. You don't hear me bitching. Spazdev says it didn't help the sales, but it would have done very well. No, I agree with that. I think it was going, again, because I had been, and as not a Harry Potter fan, I had been hearing a lot about it long before there was any backlash against it. So yeah, I think it would have done well. Evgeny says, reminds me of the epic rap battles of history. The president shall not be the shiniest of 2 turds. Yeah, I vote X because he's not Y. Rhetoric shows that the whole system sucks. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Excuse me. Hey, Curtis, what are your thoughts on the Gonzalez versus Google Supreme Court case? I'm not familiar, Glenn. I don't want to comment because I'm not sure. Gonzalez versus Google? It could even be something, you guys know my memory, it could even be something that I came across and am blanking out on, but I'm not familiar right now. Excuse me. Okay, David, good. Take your disability and be gone. When you start, again, if you want to engage with me, even though you do it poorly and illiterate, that's one thing. But if you're going to start just randomly screaming at people, you can leave. Take your disabilities, shove them up your ass, and be gone. Hey, Madara, good to see you. Now, what I want to talk about too was, and now here's where I'm hoping you guys can fill me in a little, because I came into the stream, I was going to try and find more details, and I forgot to before I got here. The 3 UFOs that were shot down, I didn't get to see anything of, I guess Biden spoke on the issue yesterday. Are they honestly saying that they have been unable to find any remnants of those? Is that really the case? Before I go on a rant about that, is that actually what happened? Excuse me. Tsunami says, did you see Ann Coulter say Haley needs to go back to her own country? Not surprising coming from her. Nothing. I'm not an Ann Coulter fan either. Yeah, nothing surprises me from Ann Coulter. Tsunami. Nothing. Nothing. Okay, Chrome says, I think we're up to 4 UFOs. Oh, you didn't hear the rest from Biden. It gets worse. He admitted something super bad. Really? What was said? I got to look this up. I got to get more details. Damn it. She says, have you ever thought about creating a charity stream to help organizations for disabled people like, what's his name? There's another person here on YouTube who does charity streams on YouTube. I never thought about doing that. I mean, my wife does a lot of I just posted something, it was at the Goose though, about my wife the other day, how, my niece, my sister's adopted daughter, is also disabled, and her program was having a prom. This was it last week? Excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. Well, my wife doesn't know anybody in that program. I mean, we just moved here other than my niece, but she went to all the meetings, helped set everything up, and then she went out the other, and they had a red carpet. It was really cool. They had a red carpet for all the folks, to make them feel like celebrities and stuff coming into their prom. My wife couldn't even talk when she came home from screaming all night, cheering everybody on and stuff like that. So when we get involved in things of that nature for the disabled, it's usually right on a hands-on type basis. I'd never really thought about it with a stream. Chrome says he admitted like 2 major things. I'll find the tweet. 1, the U.S.'s defense grid was left unsecured, and they could have fixed it at any time. And oh boy. And they may have knowingly shot down civilian and research objects and called them UFOs without verifying what they were. Oh, that's terrible. Schizo Man, Biden supporters are traitors to the country. They should be shot. Now you got to go Schizo Man too. Now, obviously, as I said, not to anybody who makes broad generalizations like that. Just because I think Biden is in cognitive decline, I don't believe that everything he thinks or anything he wants to enact as policy is bad. Listen, he's the president of the United States, and I live in the United States. I want him to do well. I just don't think the odds of him doing well are good from what I'm seeing and hearing. Oh, I didn't even see. Thomas says David is street boss, and it's not okay. Thomas, Susan, your last act. You better give Thomas his due on that super chat. I'm gonna sit here and monitor this. I didn't even see that David had gotten stream boss. Come on, Susan, God damn it. We know the stream boss thing has been working because David got there. Are you fucking kidding me? Guys, what the hell? And in fairness, I mean, I like saying, Susan, this is Streamlabs. I'm going to go into my Streamlabs desktop and see if I can't fix this for Thomas, if it doesn't work on its own. Are you... How can it just ignore one? All right. Hold on a second. We gotta find out what the hell's going on here. Let me get in my Streamlabs desktop. Here's my dashboard. Oh, come on, log in. I know. Because this is unacceptable. How did it just ignore that super chat? Right now, where are we here? Is it alert box? I gotta find out where. Gotta find my. Oh wait, you know what? Maybe I can do it right in here. Let me Stream Boss properties. Manage the battle. I can't change visual settings, source. Shit. Okay, I'm going to find a way. What I'm going to do at least is there we go. It just Kevin is just a random name. I just reset it. I apologize. I apologize for that, Thomas. I don't know how the hell that happened. But Streamlabs has been wonky as hell lately. If they don't get their shit working, we're going to go to another stream provider there. Oh, Willie says, thank you, Willie. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's see if Willie's at least knocks this Kevin's who they made up down here. Yay, Kevin. Now everybody's a Kevin fan. Kevin's getting more attention than me. Let's see. Yeah, but let's see if Willie's knocks it down any. If not, I'm going to take that Stream Boss down because I don't want people putting in super chats and stuff if they're not going to be recognized. You know, I mean, put in super chats with the idea of hitting the Stream Boss. Oh, widgets. Where the hell? I gotta find where it is that I on here. I apologize for the distraction, guys, but I want to figure this out. That's not it. It's hard to find your way around the Kevin for president. You're right, Big Green. I am going to get jealous. Screw Kevin. Yeah, because that one didn't work either. I'm trying to see. You know what I'll do? Let me take Stream Boss out and put it back in. And just see if that fixes it. Remove. All right, let's just re-add Stream Boss. If it doesn't work, I'm really starting to get annoyed with how much stuff doesn't work with Streamlabs. So we might be doing something different here. Let's see, Stream Boss, where you at? There it is. And then, wow, I went to add Stream Boss and it didn't even add it to the stream. Yeah, it's messed up, I think. Try again, Stream Boss. Okay. There it is. Oop, too big. That's what she said, I wish. All right, and if that doesn't work, we're going to toss it out. Let me check its properties. Starting health 4800. So, visual settings. Manage battle. Damage per subscriber 200, per membership, per super chat $1. It says right there 300. Okay, so we'll just keep an eye on that and see, guys. If not, I don't like having something on there that, again, somebody might be donating a super chat because they want to score on the stream boss and then just not have it work. So we'll see if it works or not. Oh, hell, Kevin. God damn, Kevin. I knew that something like this would happen. It's David's fault. Kyle says, hey, Curtis, do you think Sammy even has a chance of winning against Roman? Could be. He's gotten so much. The only thing that makes me say no is I really think they want the Roman, what's his name? Cody Rhodes thing to go down. If, excuse me, I could see them having Sammy win and get it taken away on a technicality or some bullshit like that. But yeah, it'd be tough I think, for them to give it to him right now. Lex says, guys, in all seriousness, we can't ignore all the good that Susan has done for the platform. And I'd like to take a moment to play a song in honor of her retirement. Okay, hold on. I'm going to open Lex's. Oh, okay, hold on a second. I got to fix the link. It came out like a studio link. Let's see if I can see it.
Let the joyous news be spread. The wicked old
Ding dong, the witch is dead. It'll be interesting to see if there's any real changes. I don't think so. Okay, now, if you guys would watch Kevin, see if he gets taken down at all by Garrick here. Garrick says, do you think Patrick Warburton should voice a DBZ character? He'd be perfectly play a Saiyan. You don't have to convince me on a Patrick Warburton voicing of anything, pal. I am a huge Patrick Warburton nerd. I loved him in going back to David Putty in Seinfeld. I've loved everything he voices. He is also, you guys know what Disney nuts we are. Well, my favorite ride at Disney is Soarin', and he plays the captain in the queue that you go into before you get on the ride. Patrick Warburton plays the captain, giving you all the pre-boarding instructions and everything. I am a huge nerd for him. So yes, Patrick Warburton at all times. Yeah, this thing is just, the stream boss is just completely broken. Yeah, Streamlabs. But now it wasn't broken because at some point David became stream boss. So it's just, I don't know what the hell its problem is. I'm wondering, guys. I wonder if we, instead of using, because I always stream through either Streamlabs or XSplit. I'm wondering. Let's see if it just change. If I change it there, if it'll work now. I'm wondering if we stopped using a go-between, and I just start. If I start streaming directly from YouTube's app, from YouTube's system, if maybe that will cut down on the delay and everything. David broke it. Let's be real. Yeah, Big Green. I know, because Thomas came in. It was nice enough to be willing to take him out for us. But at least, Thomas, your donation wasn't for naught, because it brought my attention to the fact that he was there and we got rid of him. So, and yes, it does say Spaz Boys Comedy up there now, because Kevin was getting far too fucking much attention for my liking. Oh, I want all the attention right here. You guys know I'm an attention whore of the largest magnitude. Joshua says, love your vids and humor. Well, thanks. First time on a live stream, anime reaction to the best of platform. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Dimmy says, just want to say, big fan of the other channel giving YouTube advice. I like doing that one, Dimmy. I got to find, now I'm trying to, now that I've put all these things I wanted to try in place, now I got to start juggling the time to make content for each, but I like that one. Because, boy, is there a lot of bad information out there about YouTube and about online video in general. Garrick says, have you ever considered, let's see if this works. Have you ever considered playing Kingdom Hearts? I have played Kingdom Hearts in the past, Garrick. It's a combination of Disney and anime. You have Goofy and Donald sidekicks. Yes, I think Kingdom Hearts is a fantastic game. I got almost all the way through the first one. I didn't get to finish it. If I remember right, and that wasn't even on stream. That was just playing it. I think I ended up, I won't say rage quitting, but frustration quitting that one back years ago when it first came out, if my memory serves, which we never know if it does. I think I got to a spot I just couldn't figure out, and I kind of lost interest in it because I really liked the game. But yes, I'm aware of that one. I like it a lot. And yeah, I'm taking Stream Boss down. Yep, look at this. Garrick's didn't. I'll give it another second just to make sure. But Garrick's didn't go through on Stream Boss either. Chrome says, "Here's Biden's tweet. Think there's more, but this is the big one." Okay, I want to take a peek at this, guys. This is what I've been wondering. After the incursion by China's high-altitude balloon, we enhanced radar to pick up slower objects. By doing so, we tracked 3 objects posing hazards to air traffic. I gave orders to take them down. These objects were likely tied to recreation or research, not surveillance. I've directed my team to set sharper rules on how we deal with unidentified objects. We will inventory and improve capacity to detect, obtain rules for launching these objects, and Senator Blinken will establish global norms. Americans will be safer because of it. Excuse me. I just don't really... I don't really believe anything that comes from politicians in general. That could be the case. Maybe it was innocent things showing up on the radar because they were tracking more, but you still can't tell us what it was. That's what I find hard to believe. The technology we have militarily, or let's even take it a step further. When you sent those jets out to take these things down, you didn't have an accompanying plan for retrieval of the objects that were taken down. There's got to be shrapnel. There's got to be something left of them, right? That's why I find it hard to believe. And if we are unable to do that, if we don't have the technology to be able to go out there and then recover the stuff that we shot down, we're in a world of shit. We're in a lot of trouble. Spazdev said the donation Thomas made hit the stream box. I think you messing with it, broke it, and made it stop working. Did it, Spazdev? I didn't see where it... No, it couldn't have, though, because Thomas had donated enough it should have knocked him out. Unless it had already hit before I looked at it. But, oh, no, wait, it is working now. Okay, we're down now. Spaz Boys Comedy is down. Why is it taking so long? And, okay, Spazdev said, maybe Spazdev is right. Maybe I looked too late. Maybe by the time I looked at David's, the damage had already been done from Thomas's. Is that what you're saying, Spazdev? That could be. Dimmy says it's aliens. Just admit government. We're all done for. Yeah. Well, the thing of it is, though, Dimmy, what just kills me is, as I said, so you're admitting, no matter how you slice it, that we shot shit out of the air and have no idea how to figure out what it was? Because even what we read that Chrome, that Biden wrote, or that administration wrote, that Chrome linked, was that, well, we think it was this or that. We apparently couldn't actually find out. Kaiser says, congrats to Spaz Kid on the marriage. We all know that in order to become Spaz Man, you must learn to dodge. Then a disembodied voice in your head can tell you that your precious runt is becoming a man. Dodge. Oh, just you started reading the donation. Okay, Spazdev said David went from 13,000 to 7,000. Oh, okay. So that's the right number too, because it was a $20 donation. Okay. My apologies then, guys. It was working. It was working at that time. I thought I had looked in time that I should have seen his take the hit, but it already had. Spazdev said he was watching it the whole time. So we got, but it is working now. Because when I reset it, it had Spaz Boys Comedy at 4,800, and that's been knocked down. Glenn says, Gonzalez versus Google Supreme Court case started because basically YouTube accidentally recommended ISIS videos to people on YouTube. Jesus Christ. Oh, no. See, I didn't hear about this one, Glenn. and a group of people got inspired by that and shot up a restaurant. Holy fuck. I that one slipped right by me. I hadn't even heard about that. That's a rough one. Because I will say this, I do know, obviously, YouTube does their very best to try and keep, and I don't always agree with the way they go about it, but in trying to keep that kind of content from being promoted. But I'll give them that in a platform this big, it's almost impossible to do, especially depending on if the people who posted that were smart enough to not include the keywords that would trigger the algorithm. You could easily slide it by. There's millions and millions of videos uploaded to YouTube every day. So that's a tough one. So Laura says, hey, Papa Curtis, is it true YouTube sent Susan into exile and was banished forever? I actually think, from what I can tell, I think Susan was well liked by Google. It was her move. Again, I make a lot of jokes. I don't have anything against Susan. I don't necessarily agree with everything she did, but I honestly, genuinely believe she was well-intentioned. I think a lot of what she wants for the platform just never rolled all the way downhill to the people on the front lines who work as moderators for YouTube. You have those people who have their own set of beliefs and their own set ways of wanting to do things. And I think that's where you see all these ridiculous things happening to people. Getting demonetized for ridiculous reasons, getting their channel shut down for asinine reasons. It's because they ran afoul of one of the YouTube minions. That's what I believe. I don't think that was ever her intention, but I think that there's that disconnect. Okay, Rover says the current article says YouTube isn't responsible for what's put on their site due to algorithm. He is arguing that because the algorithm shows more of what you see, it's them showing it to you. He's not wrong. YouTube tells us that, and with all the research I've been doing, before I made the changes to the channel and stuff, that's how the algorithm is set up. That's why they, we YouTubers now, you try and explain to them, you're not making content for, how should I say it? You need to make content that is what a individual person wants to see. The content is delivered to each person as an individual, not to groups as a whole. So in other words, if you just want to hit this one demographic or this one search term, that's not necessarily going to work because YouTube doesn't designate a group of people as being the ones who should see the search term. Everybody gets individual recommendations. So he's not wrong. Garrick says, if possible, could you still react to more King of the Hill? You still haven't seen Best of Dale. I very well might. I enjoyed those. Right now, I'm still going through. I'm trying to, as you guys saw, I'm re-uploading a lot of the Try Not to Laughs. And that's just because now that I've re-uploaded them, they're doing well because I took the long intros, long outros out and tightened them up a little bit. And so I'd like to get all of them running well because it helps the health of the channel. And then when I go back to making the new Try Not to Laughs again, I'm sure we will work in more King of the Hill because I liked it. Lex says Susan hate is more of a meme than anything. Right. That matters. We already know that all the bad decisions that we blame Susan for was done by someone else. Right. I agree, Lex. And it was fun, and I'm sure we'll continue to do it. I'll continue to do it anyway. Oh, good. Okay, so Garrick just had an impact on that too. I'll continue to blame Susan even after she's gone. But yes, it was always tongue in cheek. And you guys know I'll be glad to tell you if it's somebody I don't like, I'll tell you. But I don't have a problem with Susan. I think she was well intentioned. I just think that a disconnect between what Susan wants and what the frontline workers of YouTube do, that disconnect is basically impossible to overcome. Big Green says, I'm not surprised intro outro skippers are a thing. That probably hurt the channel a little. Oh, a lot, Big Green. I can give you guys, if you're interested, I'll just really quickly, I'll give you an idea. Now, I'll take one of those older, excuse me, older reactions, say a Family Guy, Try Not to Laugh, and I'll look at the numbers, and YouTube very distinctly, I told you guys this, makes it a point to tell you what percentage of your viewers are still there at the 30-second mark. Well, they're not going to have that as a separate individual statistic unless it's important to them. And then they go on to tell you what your overall watch was. When I started fixing those, at the 30-second mark, I was averaging about 37% of people still watching. On the fixed ones, that's up to like anywhere between 70 and 80 and sometimes even higher percent are still watching at 30 seconds. The overall watch time was dragged down by that initial lag during the intro. Then at the end, during the outro, it dropped to nothing too. People weren't interested in the outro. They just wanted to see, the reaction. So by taking those out, on those videos, I get anywhere from mid-50s to low 70% viewer retention, which is outrageously high. So we went from 34% at the 30-second mark to 75 to 80 on a lot of them at the 30-second mark, just by making those changes. And those are by YouTube's own designation, those are the big numbers they look at. Garrick says, I've heard they're making another South Park game. Well, that's cool. They're doing another superhero theme. I hope you can play as a villain and help Professor Chaos. That would be cool. I can't wait. We got, because SL is still, you guys know SL is one of our Goosh members, and he's been sponsoring gameplay of Fractured But Whole. And he sponsors a double gameplay every month, and that's still yet to come. It'll probably be during this week. We'll be doing that stream. That game is a blast. Gimster says next post and says, can you do long intros and outros from now on? My requests are always reasonable. Yeah, that's it's made an unbelievable difference in those videos. Johnny says, loving your Always Sunny reactions. That show's so freaking funny. But if you're laughing this hard in season 2, then you're going to die in later seasons. That's what I hear, Johnny. So a lot of people are telling me. They said that's one of the amazing things, and I've heard this from a lot of you guys, about Always Sunny, is it just keeps getting stronger. Jesus Christ, that show is funny. Chrome says, let's see if you ever beat South Park. How long did it take for Horizon? We're still working on Horizon, Chrome. Still working on it. Fortunately, BTG stayed with us, kept sponsoring it, and that's with, using steroids in it too. I think, though, we've been making the last several months of the South Park gaming. The sessions have gone well. We've gotten through, a significant number of stuff. We've gotten through some of the fights that the gang told me, it seemed hard to me, but everything seems hard to me. But they said, no, it's, a couple of fights we got through are stumpers. They're really rough ones. Of course, I play it on super easy lame ass mode. I heard that, Dylan. Dylan says there's going to be a 5th Toy Story. They're really milking that cow. See, Toy Story is my favorite movie series ever. And I was nervous when they did 4, because it's like, don't ruin it. Don't, as Dylan says, don't over milk it. It was perfect. Now, I give them that. 4 was good. It wasn't my favorite. I have a very specific pecking order of those. For me, it goes 3, 1. I'm sorry. For me, it goes 3, 1, 4, 2. So 4 was good. But why do you have to keep doing it until you screw one up? Because they more money to there. Gimster says, hasn't Horizon Zero Dawn been going on since before I started Higurashi? Yeah, I think so, Gimster. Yeah, we completed that whole season of Higurashi that Gimster was sponsoring, and have moved on, several months now, right, Gimster? We've been done with that season, and, excuse me, our pal BTG's been sponsoring Horizon Zero Dawn since before that. We were playing it on PC, and that's back when I kept having issues with the syncing and all that stuff. And so we switched it over. Or no, I'm sorry. We started on PS4. That's when I was having trouble syncing the PS4. So then we switched it over to PC and started again. And that's where we've been ever since. Big Green says, people don't like longer videos anymore. They used to when YouTube finally allowed longer vids to be made, but now people seem to prefer shorter vids. I agree. It depends somewhat on genre, of course. You know, in gaming and stuff, you can still get away with longer videos. But no, in general, I agree. You'll see I'm even started, just with the video I posted yesterday and today, with the YouTube shows that we do, you know, when we have the full reaction over at the Goosh, I've even started changing the way I edit them. Because what I was doing, as you guys all saw, I would edit it up. You'd see a piece of the video. A lot of times I would take the video out and you could just see me finishing my thoughts on something. But I've stopped doing that. And what I do is the videos are shorter now for that reason. Just because people are telling me by their responses or the way they watch the videos, they just want to see the highlights, you know. And this I can back up. It's not only for me, because if you watch a YouTube video now, you can scroll on the time bar, and it shows you little peaks and valleys. Those in kind of a shadow. Those peaks and valleys are showing you where people were watching. The most people were watching that video. And when you look at reactions to certain shows, you'll see those peaks stay the same regardless of who the uploader is. So there are certain parts of these reactions that people are more into. So I try and keep them in, keep the video shorter, and get the people that just want to watch the condensed version, get them exactly what they want to see. And then those who want to see the long form version are typically over with us at the Goose. Garrick says, Spyro is another game you should play. It's on PC. I've heard of that. Is Spyro the Dragon? Is that the one I'm thinking of, Garrick? I think. Hey, Garrick, you're stream boss now, so it is working again. Good. Willie says, oh, speaking of G100s, Honey Pop 3 was teased by Honey Dev, which means we need to get you through 2 as well. Problem is 2 is much harder than 1. Is it? I tell you, Willie, I finally, well, you sponsor the game, so I know you see. I've started to get a feel for the game. I was playing it so wrong early on. But now that I figured out that, you know, you got to fill that honey pot before you go into certain dates with the girls and stuff, it's gotten a lot better. Because I actually like the game. The actual match up the jewels thing that you play, I like that. But I finally started to figure out how to go about getting everything in place before I went out on the dates. So hopefully we'll be able to do it. Oh, it is Spyro the Dragon? Yeah, I have heard of that one then. I never played it. I know of it, but I don't think I've ever played it. Chrome says, I'm pretty sure Horizon predates me sponsoring Sakura. We'll probably finish Sakura before Horizon. It does. I do remember that. Yeah, it does, Chrome. And I'm still playing. And I'm playing on steroids. For any of you who haven't been watching the Horizon Zero Dawn gameplays, some people say I'm cheating. I just got really good. So I can one-shot basically any monster, even bosses in the game, and I'm still struggling to get through. Spyro is a purple dragon. No, he isn't. Heroin. Yeah, it makes me think that's looks like the Guitar Hero episode of South Park. Big Green says, I'm surprised I never watched Always Sunny. I like Danny DeVito. I'm surprised too. Haven't seen it now. It's genuinely up there with the funniest shows I've ever seen. Right from episode 1. And you guys are right. The few episodes I've seen in season 2, since Danny came in, holy shit. He just takes it up a whole nother level. But again, he's somebody I've been a fan of since Taxi. Excuse me. Yeah, I know, Big Green. I know. He says Curtis would never cheat. Just because I've gotten good and I can, take down the biggest of the mecha monsters in Horizon Zero Dawn by basically flicking a booger at them, now people will automatically think I'm cheating. Really, Chrome? She says, I tried Sunny. I just couldn't get into it, sadly. Maybe it gets better, but the first episode didn't work for me. Oh, it killed me. That's their sense of humor in that show is just so spot on for me. I just love it. Chrome says, is it cheating if you don't know what you're doing? Right. Dylan says, that's not steroids. That's all skill. I just say steroids, Dylan, to make people feel better. So, they're not as envious of my skills. Spazdev says, thoughts on Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. Jake's first time fighting a pro boxer with his brother Tyson Fury. Yep. I think Jake will win, even though on paper Tommy should win. Tommy Fury is not the most impressive fighter I've ever seen. Another scam call. Tommy Fury is not the most impressive fighter I've ever seen. And as much as I can't stand him, Jake Paul has gotten better. I still think Tommy Fury should win. Unless Jake Paul has tightened up his boxing a lot. Because if he's still throwing those big, nasty, looping punches, any boxer with a decent amount of skill and experience should kick the shit out of him. So Tommy should win, but we'll see what happens. Big Green says, oh, right, they did have the feature where you can look at the most rewatched part of any video. Right. A lot of times you'll notice people skipping a sponsorship ad. I've seen that too, Big Green, when I was researching all that. Yeah, yeah, they do. And so that's what I've done now with those. I try and just keep the spots that people really want to see in those edits. Excuse me. I'm thinking too, I miss doing these streams so much too. I've talked about this before. I'm trying to think of ways that I can incorporate some of the content for the channel into the streams. In other words, like say we wanted to do a Family Guy Try Not to Laugh. We know that they don't run into any problems with they don't have any issues with copyright, because even if they hit you, the Family Guy ones, they just take the monetization. All I care is the channel doesn't get hurt, and that doesn't hurt the channel at all. So I've been thinking maybe I could start doing streams where their reaction streams or Try Not to Laugh streams. I could do that in the early part of the stream. Then we could continue on and have some conversation, have some fun like we're doing today. And then later I can just snip that part out and post it as a video. If I can do stuff like that, I'm just trying to think of, because everything is about time for me now. If I can save time here or there, that's more stuff we could do. That's what I'm thinking about, Big Green. If you do a reaction stream, you have to be really careful, obviously, in making sure that it's something that's not going to get your stream taken down and then get banned from streaming for a couple weeks. But stuff, again, like the Family Guy clips, anything that we know is cool for reactions, we could do. Kind of, what is this time you speak of? Excuse me. Oh, geez. Visual FX guy says, what do you call a redneck smurf? Blue trash. Oh, guys, I guess I better go. My voice is just about giving out. Oh, it's so much fun finally being back to a stream. I really enjoyed this. So I'll see if I can do that. If I can come up with ways to start incorporating. And Big Green has always got our backs too, because sometimes I do things on stream that are in the title, but are only a small part of the actual stream. And Big Green always comes through for us and timestamps it in the chat. And then I just have to remember going and pin his post. So I'll think about that more. So it would allow us to stream more often if I can incorporate things. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for the stream. Thanks for hanging out with me. This was a lot of fun. I just absolutely love getting back to live streaming again. I'm hoping to coordinate things where I can do it more often like we used to. But all that matters for now, it's disbursement time. Oh, I know everybody's ready. Everybody's ready. This is like, birds in the nest and bringing in the worm. Oh, bringing in the worm. I didn't even do. Yeah, I did that on purpose. I meant to say that. Yeah, bringing in the worm, because here it comes. Get ready for it. Get your official sticky stuff fanny packs, because when it's been built up this long, this is keepsake stuff. There's like gold flakes in it. I can tell because it hurts like hell when it comes out. Here comes Pampu Pampu. Sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you back there, sticky stuff for you over there, because we'll bang, okay? Flashlight like Buggy. And as always, most importantly, it's gold flaked, all right. Goosh, 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 goosh. Goosh.